Pamela, when did you first start running? How long did it take you to reach what you would consider your peak fitness? When you realized you were at the top of your ability, have you not reached it yet? I started running in 2012, pretty much end of June in 2012. Signed up to the Perth Marathon. It was the most painful experience of my life, but it was one of the first experiences that I set myself a goal and I achieved it. I'm probably the world champion in starting things and not finishing them. So that was, a massive high for me, even though it was a small kind of achievement, and nothing compares to like a university degree that I failed to get before and stuff like that. So for me, that was a big thing, is setting myself a goal and kind of achieving it, even though it was just a marathon. I think that I kind of improved really quickly, really fast. When I started running, I used to spend all my free time researching, learning everything about recovery, sleep, nutrition. Obviously, that's when I went vegan. That was the first reason that I went vegan, was for recovery, which really helped. So I started improving really quickly, probably a little bit too fast in many ways, and that kind of just meant that I ran 7 100k races in a space of like 16 weeks, which was probably a bit unhealthy for my body. I think that was probably my highest point, is when I ran the North Face 100k in Thailand in like 8 hours and 20 minutes, which I don't know how I did it back then. It was just a lot of Ks, a lot of hours. My body was still fresh, so I was able to do like 200k weeks, 180k weeks, week after week. I feel now, 31, I feel a little bit older, and I don't know if I can still do it. I'm probably not as hungry right now, being honest with you guys. After winning maybe like 70 trail races now, 70 races now, the hunger has definitely went down a little bit. It's not the same feeling as going into my first race now after I've done 150 races. So the hunger has went down. I am training a little bit smarter now, so I think that right now I have different goals. So it's not more about kind of winning races, but it's rather kind of doing the best I can, which in the beginning my goals were like to win races, which makes it makes it really hard when you don't win races or don't do well in races. Now my goals are just to do the best I can, and that makes it a lot easier on myself, so I don't stress out if I don't do well in a race. I sleep better the night before. That's probably has been like one of the best things for me to kind of with my running, is that I'm not kind of stressed if I didn't do too well in a race. So I'm starting to enjoy racing again in many ways now, because I have different goals. It's not about winning, it's doing the best I can on a single day. And if I can achieve that, then I'm kind of happy, and I'm not angry at myself because I didn't win, because the goals are different now. I do think I'm gonna improve. I don't think that I've reached my kind of top abilities just yet. At 31, I feel like I got a good 4 or 5 years in front of me. Running has done so much to my life, and I've seen so many people change their diets because maybe that I inspire them and things like that. So that always motivates me to actually keep on pushing, keep on racing, and try and find a higher kind of peak, I guess, to my ability. So hopefully I can get that the peak of my ability a little bit higher in the next few years, so I can still do well in a couple more races. Next question from Richard. I've seen that you've done a long fast. I've done a 4-day and it was great. For most areas of my life, apart that I felt running suffered for months after. Even I'm wondering if I made me more injury prone in the weeks after. Yeah, 100%. So I think I'm not sure, Richard, if you've done a fast before. I think 4 days is going pretty deep, being a runner. If you weren't a runner and you had an office job and kind of that kind of a lifestyle, maybe 4 days would work, but I would definitely, like anything, I'll kind of recommend building up to it slowly. 4 days, I mean, I would like to try to do a 4-day one, or a 1-day, or a full day fast, but definitely not while I'm running. Obviously running is healthy. If you run kind of 5-6k a day at 6-minute pace, is super healthy. Once you start kind of doing the amount of running that I do, is probably unhealthy. So my main goal with the fasting was definitely to lose weight. I did a bit more fasting about 1.5 years ago, and I lost way too much weight. I didn't have enough energy in my running, and I felt like, as like what you said, that it kind of affected you for a few weeks. I definitely felt that effect for about at least 8 weeks, after doing probably 16 to 18 hour fast for about a month or 6 weeks. So I kind of did it every single day for about 6 weeks, I would say, and I went down to about 59 kilograms. I was low on energy. You know, even though I had some really good runs in that kind of period and some good results, overall I didn't have the same amount of energy as what I did before. So that kind of bring me down to like that weight. If you lose too much weight and you're too light, you know, that's definitely going to be affecting your energy levels and recovery. And then again, as I was saying, you know, the amount of running that I do is probably a bit unhealthy, so I need those calories. So right now, you know, with the fasting that I've done in the past few days, you know, that was probably like about 8 days of fasting, and what I'm going to try and experiment more a bit with this year is kind of fasting maybe 1 day a week or 2 days a week, seeing the benefits of that, seeing how that's going to affect my body. I know that it's super risky fasting for longer than 16 hours, you know, when I've done 5 or 6 hours of training the day before. So I mean, if you are planning to do a longer fast, and there's a lot of evidence of the benefits of it, weight loss, mental clarity, obviously as a detox, a lot of good things about it, and I think people should do it. You should do it at the right time. So maybe, you know, you have a whole 2 weeks of running, you put on a little bit of weight, and then you kind of go into that fast. I would never really do that fast if you were in like a middle of a training block, or getting ready for a race, or generally just doing anything over 40k a week, or anything even over 30k a week. You know, so I kind of be smart about that when you do it. There's definitely, I'm sure that you would have read a lot about it and saw the benefits of it, but it's also the question, you know, those benefits are coming, and most of those researchers coming, they're not runners, so those people might not be running 100k a week. So that's a lot different. I do think you need to put in calories into your body. You know, I've been injury free for 6 years pretty much because I forced myself to eat. You know, I really kind of, even when I don't feel like eating, I force the food down, especially after races, especially after big runs. You know, usually I'll finish like a long run, and you want to be just kind of like left alone for a few hours to kind of get your energy back. I'm forcing that food down. I don't feel like eating, I'll make a massive smoothie, bananas, greens, dates, as much calories as I can into that one smoothie. So I force the food down, so I don't kind of wait till I get hungry before I eat. So that's where I think that calories are really, really important for recovery. I would really be smart about your next fast, or maybe building up to it, or maybe trying shorter kind of periods, or maybe trying it once every few weeks, when you're not running a lot. But it is dangerous, I think, when you're running, because your body is lacking the tools to kind of repair the muscle damage that caused by running. So I would be smart with that fasting, especially when you are running. So any tips on efficient running for beginners? I'm not traveling at speed, so does the same form apply at slower pace than a faster one? I read that the arms should be moving in a vertical plane and swinging behind you and around, rather than swing across your body. The knees should lift, and heel kicks, etc. The arm thing is good, but when I tried this, the legs feel like a prancing pony. I think that the main thing that I would work with a lot of people that would talk about form is actually making sure that you land softly. So I think one of the biggest mistakes that I see beginners do is heel strike, and they kind of break in front of their body, then try and go over their body, and there's a lot of impact when your heel touches the ground first. I know there's a lot of good runners that are heel strikers, but as a beginner, personally my own views is you should be landing mid-foot very, very softly. So an example that I like to show a lot of runners is if I kind of jump, I'm standing in one spot and I jump and I land kind of on my toes, I kind of soften that landing. And if I land with my whole foot on the ground, then I'm creating more noise, I'm creating more impact. So that's what I don't want to be doing. I don't want to be having that heavy impact on every single step that I take. So for me, one of the main things that you can do is concentrate on making sure that your cadence is high, so your steps per minute are high, and you're landing softly. Ideally, your cadence should be pretty close to 180 steps per minute. Obviously, that's a lot of steps when you are going super slow and you might not get there. But maybe 170 is probably something that you can achieve, and something that you want to be getting close to. Making sure that you land softly. So I usually don't run with music when I run, because I actually listen to how I land on both sides. So I want to create the same sound when I land on my right and my left. So that's probably something that you kind of want to be thinking about. I think that you want to be aware, just making sure that things are in line. In many ways, you want to make sure that your right side is doing the same thing as your left side. So you want to start being aware of that, so kind of getting a feel to that. With your arms, definitely you don't want them kind of swinging across your body, because you are going forward. You know, if things are moving sideways, if you're landing and your foot is facing sideways, you know, that energy is going sideways instead of going forward, and your goal is to go forward as a runner. So I want to make sure that, you know, I wouldn't worry too much about kind of your hand placement. That should be part of your kind of your run. You shouldn't be forcing anything. You shouldn't be lifting them purposely. You want them to go in straight lines. You want to be super relaxed. I see a lot of tension with runners in their kind of shoulders and kind of arms. One thing that could work is, like, you imagine you're holding like an egg, and you're not kind of trying to break it. So imagine literally like just doing that and getting this really soft feel between your fingers. So I get people to run like that, and then you can see, like, you know, how everything just relaxes a little bit. So the main thing I think that you want to be thinking as a beginner is staying super relaxed. Running has to be effortless in many ways. You don't want to be tense anywhere. You want to be really, really soft. You want to land as softly as you can. You know, everything has to be as loose as you can. And I think your best thing is to think about making sure that you land in front of your body. You're not landing in front of your body, so your cadence is high, so you're landing under your body. So if you took a picture side on, 100% side on of you running, are you going to be stepping in front of your body or under your body? So you want to make sure you step under your body, because when you step in front of your body, you're creating a lot more impact on your body, and that will result in a very low count of cadence. So stay relaxed, make sure that you're not making too much sound when you're hitting the ground, and make sure that you land under your body. That will probably be a good place to start, and always keep thinking about your running form. So I think that a big mistake with runners, they just go and run, and if you're not going to focus on one goal or two goals for every single run, your running form generally will just get worse and worse with time. So you want to be making sure that you are thinking of something. You have a goal. You don't just go out running. If you want to improve, you go out there with a goal, with a purpose. It can be one thing. You know, it could be, okay, on this run today, I want to make sure that my upper body is relaxed. I'm not crossing. I'm not kind of swinging my arms from side to side. You know, that could be one goal for a run. Then you have next run that you do, land on your midfoot, you know, and so on, and you break it down really, really simple for yourself. But as long as you're thinking and you're aware, you're improving.